Dear student friends, today we shall discuss about one more type of analog to digital converter that is called as the dual slope analog to digital converter. We have already seen the working of the successive approximation type of analog to digital converter. So today we shall see about one more type of the ADC, which is referred to as the dual slope. Why it is called a dual slope? How exactly the analog input which is given here, right, is getting converted into its digital output that we will see. So this is called DS ADC, right? So now, in order to understand the working of the dual slope analog to digital converter, let us go into the circuit details of this. Please look at this diagram carefully. So this is the circuit diagram of the dual slope analog to digital converter, wherein you have got one integrator that is uh, using this part of the operational amplifier and capacitor and the resistance, right? Then you have got one comparator here using op-amp comparator. Then you have got a couple of switches here, electronically controlled switches. They are electronically controlled switches, that is S1 and S2, S1 and S2. Then you have got control logic, right, in order to make sure that the analog input is properly getting converted into its digital output. Then you have a clock circuit, which is used to provide the clock pulses for the counter, right, which does the part of converting analog input into its digital output. So these are the different components that are present in the analog to digital converter, which is of the dual slope type. Now, after having seen these components, now we will try to see basic principle of working of this dual slope analog to digital converter. So as per the principle, so this dual slope, analog to digital converter integrates. This is a very important point to be noted. It integrates the unknown input voltage V in for a fixed time TINT. So this is the fixed interval of time, and it de-integrates certain reference voltage V reference for DEINT. This is the variable amount of time. This is for the variable amount of time. The integration of the unknown input voltage takes place for the fixed time, whereas the de-integration of the fixed reference voltage for a variable amount of time. This is how the very principle of the working of the ADC takes place. Now this we have to understand from the point of view of the circuit diagram here, right? Looking at the circuit diagram, how we should be able to do it. So please look at the two switches here, S1 and S2, the two switches S1 and S2. So S1, it can be connected to three different points, as you can see, at any point t less than 0, right? So t less than 0 indicates that it is a time before the actual conversion begins. The conversion of analog value into its digital equivalent begins. At t less than 0, your S1, as you can see here, is connected to ground. S1 is connected to ground here, and S2 is closed. You can see in the diagram. S2 is closed here, right? At t equal to 0, S1 is connected to ground. So when S1 is connected to ground, the integrator does not receive any input. So therefore, when S1 is connected to ground, your counter value will be definitely 0. The counter does not have any output. The counter basically starts counting the clock pulses once it gets the signal from the control logic. That means depending upon whether the input is connected to your integrator or the reference voltage is connected to the integrator, right? So this is the basic principle behind which the S1 and S2 depend, or their status depend before the conversion begins, right? So now, once the conversion begins, the conversion has to begin at t is equals to 0. The conversion from analog to digital value should begin at t equal to 0, right? The conversion, when it begins, your S2 is open, this switch S2 becomes open, right? And your S1 is now connected to VIN, right? The switch, you can see here, the switch S1 is connected to VIN and S2 becomes open. That means you will have a simple integrator operation here, with the integrator getting the voltage VIN, and the integrator starts working till a fixed time which I have mentioned here at TINT, right? So now if you look at the diagram here, so from here your conversion begins, right? So here the conversion starts. The integration of the input voltage takes place up to a certain time, TINT, right? So now what will be your output voltage here at this particular time? V naught is given by minus 1 over RC, the integrator output, into V into delta T. This is the general expression for the output voltage. Now at say T is equals to TINT, right? Your output voltage will be minus 1 divided by RC. The input at that time is Vin, and delta T is TINT. This is going to be the expression for the output voltage, right? So now at this time, when you have reached the point somewhere here, okay, in your diagram, earlier diagram what I have shown, right, after your TINT is over, right, the switch the switch S1, right, now it will be thrown to V reference point. You can see here this S1 is now thrown to V reference, where your V reference is a negative voltage. Please look here, it is something like this. So now the switch is connected to V reference, this is the ground here, right? So this is minus V reference, and this is your R1, and it will continue like this, right? So your S1 is now thrown to V reference point. Okay, so once your S1 is thrown to V reference point, what exactly happens is your de-integration process now will begin, because it is a minus V reference. So from this particular point, the de-integration of the voltage takes place with voltage V is equals to minus V reference. So therefore you will have a negative slope like this, right? You will have a negative slope like this, and till T3. Now this is your T1, this is your T2, and this is your T3. So your de-integration takes place, right? So with the de-integration takes place with an already existing voltage of minus V in into TINT divided by RC. That voltage is already present there, right? So this de-integration takes place with a slope is equals to minus V reference divided by RC. Okay. Now, a very important point to be noted here is, please look at this particular diagram. Now, see here, let us say that your analog input is unknown to us. Let us say that your VI is say 1 volt, VI is say 2 volt, or VI say it is about 5 volt. So all these three conditions are shown here, right? So let us say that this is a smaller voltage Vin. Let us say that it is 1 volt. So now this is, let us say that this is 2 volts, and you have one more voltage that is 5 volts. This is 5 volts, right? So depending upon the input voltage, whether it is 1 volt or 2 volt or 5 volt, the slope of the curves here till TINT, it changes, because the time is fixed. As the value of the voltage changes, obviously the slope changes here, right? But as long as your TDEINT is concerned, right, TDEINT is concerned, it will be always with the constant slope, because that is minus V reference divided by RC. Now, when these are with the constant slope, you can see here, we can have the different values of T, DE, INT. You can see here, there are three different values. This is one value, this is another value, and this is the third value. These are the three different TEINT values. So these values are now variable. As I've already spoken earlier, these values are variable, right? These are the variable values. And these variable values, as you can see here, for the largest value of the input, you have got the largest TDEINT. For the smallest value of input, right, you have got the TE or TDEINT, D integration time. You can take them as T1 and T2 as well, right? So now this particular time period here, whether this is here or this much, that decides, you can see here, you have got the control circuit here, you have got the control logic, right? So the clock pulses are continuously coming here because this clock is being generated, the clock signal, the clock coming here, right? So these clock pulses are counted by the counter, right? So now how long your clock pulses are being counted by the counter, that depends upon the value of t DEINT, right? So more number of clock pulses will be counted for the larger value of TDEINT. Less number of the clock pulses will be counted for the smaller number of TDEINT. Accordingly, you will be able to generate the digital output here equivalent to the analog input signal which is given here, right? So if you look at this particular diagram now, right, again it will be very clear from this particular diagram. If your input is a smaller value, corresponding TDEINT is also less. If you have got a large value, then accordingly your TDEINT is also more, and more number of the clock pulses will be counted to get the corresponding the digital equivalent analog signal, right? So now the same thing if you want to take from the point of view of an equation. So I have TINT is equals to T2 minus T1. We have already seen this particular diagram, right? So this is my T1, this is my T2, this is T3, and this is my TINT, and here is my DEINT, right? So your T is T2 minus T1, and it is 2 to the power of n divided by clock rate, right? Where your n is the number of bits of your ADC, right? TDEINT, which decides digital count n, that is the digital value of digital equivalent value of analog input, right? So this TDENT is T3 minus T2, which is equals to digital count n divided by clock rate, right? So now if you equate the two, V in into T2 minus T1 should be equal to V reference into T3 minus T2. So because this is responding to your V in, unknown input voltage, known time, okay, and here known reference voltage and unknown time here. This is the unknown time. Okay, so V in into T2 minus T1 should be equal to V reference into T3 minus T2. So V in into 2 to the power of n should be equal to V reference into n, or if you equate this, V in should be equal to V reference. Your input voltage V in is equal to the reference voltage into n divided by 2 to the power of n, right? So your digital equivalent of the analog input n is directly proportional to the analog input voltage. Please remember here the output voltage is independent of the value of R or the value of T or the value of the capacitor which you are using in your integrated circuit. So therefore the performance of this system is better, right? Because the external components do not have any effect on the digital output with respect to the analog input signal. So this is the reason why this particular scheme is also referred to as the dual slope. Unknown input voltage is integrated for a known period of time, and it is de-integrated with known reference voltage for unknown period of time. So the unknown period of time varies depending upon the magnitude of the input voltage, and accordingly the clock pulses counted will be more or less depending upon the unknown output time, that is TDEINT. So you get the corresponding digital equivalent of the analog input signal. This is how a typical dual slope analog to digital converter works. In our next presentation, we shall see how exactly one more type, that is the flash type of the analog to digital converter works. Thank you.